Right guys,
Hey guys,
Sydney and Charlie, back at it again with another video.
back at it again.
Today we are talking about the rat race and the whole purpose of money and how it makes us feel and how people make you feel like you need to have it, and your goal in life is to make money. So, let's get into it. Sid, what is the rat race?
I think a lot of people treat the idea of the rat race as just like, right, you're gonna be born, you spend your life in education, you go and work for somebody, you sit at a desk, do your job, work your way up, and then maybe one day you'll be a manager, you buy a house, you die, you go into an old people's home. That's it, bruv. But it's just following like the traditional sense of how we are supposed to live. I think it's often how people view the rat race.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of the time, a lot of people don't think they are involved in a rat race because they're not working a strict 9 to 5 or whatever, when really, if you are living to work, living to get money, you are in the rat race. Whether you are building your own business, whether you are a builder, whether you are working in a desk job, whether you're working in TK Maxx.
Yeah, but that's like, say you have a job where you're working from home and you're freelance. If you're working for money, from a sense, you are still part of the rat race. Yeah, okay, you're not, that money goes straight to you, or the same with building a business. Okay, so you're an entrepreneur, doesn't it sound fucking amazing? But at the end of the day, you're working for money so that you can buy things, yeah.
And you're not earning that money for a method of what you have a passion for, what your purpose is. You're just finding a vehicle to make money with. Yeah, this will do alright, and just doing that. And like we say, it doesn't matter if you're building your own business or you're working a desk job, you're still in a rat race because you're chasing money. That's your life.
I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. It's like, oh, I want to escape the rat race and I want to have financial freedom. So instead of going and get a normal job, whatever that may be, I'm going to start my own business. And it's like, well, why are you doing that? Why are you starting your own business?
Because it's a glorified different position of the rat race. It's very difficult to escape such a thing.
But it's just because I think a lot of the time people have like idolised that idea. So I think for a while is it fair to say that you thought that starting your own business would allow you the freedom to escape the idea of the rat race?
Yeah, 100%. And it's stuff like that. You think that you're not a part of it, when obviously that's what they want you to think, because change doesn't occur with complacency. And just like, there's this theory, I forgot the name of it, where it's like there's like a loop, right? And on the left is you're in a position that you absolutely fucking hate, like you hate it, you can't stand it, you can't even live in that position. And the other polar opposite is you're in the best place in your life, and you find 9 times out of 10 you are in the center of that, and that is called complacency. Because if you're in the worst position possible, you will naturally have the drive to get out of there and go into a better place. But if you're in complacency, you don't really feel the need to. And I think that is a lot of the times what the rat race is. It's that complacency of thinking, yeah, this is alright, this will do. Yeah, my boss treats me like shit. Yeah, I have to work these long hours. Yeah, I haven't really got that much money to feed my kids, but it'll do. And I think that's what the rat race is. It's basically just broken down into complacency.
Yeah, but I think, like, then that's a bit like, well, what even are you calling complacency? Because some people do, you don't need to work your arse off, and you don't need to be at the top of the food chain to be happy and to support your family and to, hold your own and to be happy with that. Because then it's like, well, what isn't complacency then? What isn't complacency? What is the thing that you're driving towards? Is it more money? that are, if you actually break it down, those things aren't bad. It's okay to want to buy a house and to want to live in your house. It's okay to want to working 9 till 5. Yeah, okay, you're working 9 till 5, but let's be realistic here. Where in Western culture are you going to live where you're not working a job? Like, you don't want that. And then when it's like, well, if you had the freedom to structure your own working life, what would you do? And I think that's the thing of escaping the rat race. It's not becoming to the point where you've built your own business and you can sell that and now you've got millions in the bank, because all you're going to do is want to find something else to fill up that space, and be that 9 till 5, this till that. I think a lot of the realistic standpoint is that you're gonna want to work, and working from 9 till 5 isn't actually that bad.
You're missing the point. What I'm getting at with the whole complacency thing is actually that ideal scenario is not about money, and if you think it is, you're incorrect. It's not about the money. It's not about the money, and it's not about the happiness. It's what you have that natural drive for, that natural fire inside of you. That is what you want to do. What difference do you want to make in this world? What footprint do you want to leave, so people will remember who you are and think, oh, I know that guy. He done this. He protested about this. This was his opinion. Whenever we saw him, he was always really nice and had these fascinating ideas and ideologies. That's what you want to strive for. It doesn't matter how much money you earn. It doesn't matter how much things you have. It doesn't matter how big your estate is. Your ideal scenario is the mentality. It's the perspective that you have to develop through purely following that fire of what you want to do. And yes, sometimes money can get in the way of that, but if you are earning money for that reason, to follow and pursue your dream, then you're not in a rat race. Because the rat race, the whole idea of that is that you are gaining money to gain more money. It is the whole idea of, I could have a bigger house, I could have a better car, I could have a nicer watch, I could work from home. But if you're doing all of this but are not doing anything else, like, yeah, sure, grow a business, fucking great. But if your whole idea, if your only pure idea of that is to make money from it, and either you are just making money for it, or if you're using that money to fuel something that you have, that you feel like is your purpose, then it's different. But 9 times out of 10, it's just to make money so you can, speaking more so from a young's perspective, and not so much having children, because I'm not aware of the factors that will so much more come into that. But the whole idea of wanting to have money for your future kids, but you need to realise that you don't need a lot of money to have a good childhood. You don't need to have all these amazing things, but you do need to have the correct perspective and the correct ideas and ideology about what is correct and what's incorrect, and being the embodiment of the one who
followed their true desires.
Yeah, and actually, if they have an opinion, they better say it, but say it in the correct way that is logical and that makes sense. But that full fulfillment area, that other end of the spectrum, is following your dream, what you want to change in this world. And it comes back to what we were talking about yesterday in the other video about we are the top 1% of the world. There are multiple countries that are slaving to fuel the UK, and yet we're also chasing money.
Yeah, when we have loads of it.
Yeah, and we don't need to chase that money. What we need to do is to find our purpose and really pursue that, and how we can improve this world and make everyone better, and just make the quality of life better. It doesn't come from laws and guidelines to quality of life. It's within the people. And until you realise that, you never really will leave the rat race, because you are constantly just trying to get more money. And where does that lead? To wanting to get more money.
Yeah.
And there's no end.
Like, that's what I think that's the biggest thing with the rat race, is that because we've realised that we're within this system and we've given it a name, now a lot of the time it has a lot of fear around it. And I think for some people it means like, oh my god, I'm so scared, because what if I get stuck in the rat race and I can never travel? Or what if I get stuck almost scared to get those normal jobs because it feels like a stereotype, it feels like you're part of that system. But I think you can live within the system that the rat race is based around. You can work for other people, you can get an education, you can have a linear life in that sense. And if you still are free in the way of you are still clear within your beliefs, within yourself, of that you are doing something, you are working, but you are working at something that you enjoy, something that you feel is important, something that you value, something that you're interested in, something that you feel like you are growing as a person whilst you're doing that, then there's nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all. And this is...
And that's why I think it's like, there should be more emphasis of, oh my, like, sometimes it's, when you hear the rat race, it's like, oh my god, escape the rat race, like, fuck the systems we're controlled by, fuck all the leaders, this is all so fucked up, we humans weren't born on this earth to sit by a desk and sell shit, and that is completely true. But also, like, you can't just look at life and look at the system that we're born into and just have such strong feelings of fear and hatred and like everything is wrong, because if you do feel like that, sit there and think, what can I do about it? What can I do about it? You can leave. You can leave. If right now you're sat there and you're thinking, I don't want to get a job, I don't really know what I like, I don't really know what I'm good at, I could work with my dad, I could, you know, go and work at my local gym, but I'm not really that interested. If you're sat there and you're thinking that, and you're thinking, oh, but I don't know what to do, you can just do something, but you can leave. But also don't be afraid to actually take the chances of like really diving into the things that you like the books that you read, like read them and enjoy them and study them as if they're something that's important, even if it's fucking Harry Potter. Like, you can find that you are a person, so accept the things that make you human and use them to help you escape the rat race. You don't need to go and fucking live with some tribe in the forest, because that's not going to fulfill your desire. You're not going to feel like you've escaped the system, but is this really a life that you want? I think as long as you're conscious within your life, as long as you reflect and you align yourself with your goals, and not even just your goals but like your morals.
Banging tune, guys.
Banging tune, guys.
Pharrell Williams.
Pharrell.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you can't go straight from a pawn to a king. You gotta be the pawn first, then you gotta be the fucking rope, then the horse and the bishop. Like, it don't happen overnight, and whether that means that you do have to work a 9 to 5 for your young years, that's what you have to do. Like, you gotta get your house sorted, you know, you've gotta have some things, you gotta have some sort of estate. Like, you can't just go straight to just doing exactly what you think is correct sometimes, depending on what background you're from. But
yeah, as
long as you have the intention that you know where you want to go, and simply put, if you don't know where you want to go, sit in a room with no fucking stimulus for a day, not a day, like a couple hours, like start with just an hour, just sit in a room with no stimulus, look at a wall or meditate for an hour, and you will naturally go towards what you like, what you have your purpose, like what you enjoy, what you strive for, and then just dive into that. Like, again, read books, watch content about that subject, and you will find what you have a passion for. And yeah, maybe it's still working in next at the fucking desk, but it's like, I'm working here because I want to do this, not because I want to buy a bunch of things and
not because I want
maybe
to
get to a manager position. That's not what it's about. That is what the rat race is, constantly wanting to upgrade because you think you will fulfill yourself and find happiness in tangible things, which is completely incorrect. You will never find happiness in physical things. It's simply not possible. Like, how do you think that if you have a new car it will just make you happy? It's like, look at a kid, for example, when they get a new toy from the shop. They go crazy. They get a brand new toy, or a dog. They go crazy about this new toy. They love it, and then a week later they don't like it, and they want a new toy, and that's all it is. It's we are brought up as a child with that mentality, and
like a kid might never get sick of football.
Because they have a passion for it.
Because they have a passion for it, they enjoy it, and like.
And that's where they find their happiness in an intangible activity or perspective. You simply won't find happiness in buying things.
What would you say is your personal experience of this idea of the rat race?
To be honest, a lot of it this weekend, the past couple of weeks when I've been looking at uni. So obviously,
just give a bit of context. How
for anyone. Brief description. So I went to college, then I done my diving courses, and now I'm a commercial diver. And I followed that for two reasons. One, because I know it pays well, and two, because I enjoy the water, right? So that's why I done it.
But you did apply for uni before.
Yeah, and I applied for uni before, but I thought this isn't what I want to do. I was doing it for the purpose of so I could become a diver, and then I realised that you don't need to have this fucking degree to be a diver. Just cough up the money for a course, and you can become a commercial diver, go offshore, anything you want. So I done that instead. And it's great, but you come to find you are just on a builder's site. You're not really like in nice, enjoyable places. You're in dirty water, there's dead animals around, there's oil, and it's not like many things what it's cracked up to be. So now I'm a bit more like, I'm seeing the people around me, and I listen to their perspectives where they're like, I can't leave this kind of company because they pay decently, and I have a family to provide to, even if they treat me like shit and fucking throw me around like I'm nothing. And I was like, fuck this, I don't want to be like this, because these guys are now dependent on this money because they are living to their mean. But in reality, you can live so below what you earn comfortably, but you still have that security, and you haven't got to earn a lot to achieve that. So I was like, right, I don't want to be constantly working from 7 till 5 on the River Thames on a barge, fucking for as long as I can think. So I was like, I'm going to grow a business, because then I can work from home, I can be around the people I love, and I can potentially have some more time to indulge in what I enjoy, possibly. So I started a business in digital advertising for gyms, and then me and my friend who ran advertising for construction firms, we partnered, and now we work together. And it's still early stages, but it's going well. But the main idea for that was to make money. To make money, to be comfortable, to provide for your children, which is completely understandable. But now I'm like, okay, so I fully believe in this business, if not definitely in the next one, because we're like-minded individuals, that we can grow a business and make money out of it. I know that's possible, but it's not what my passion is. My passion is nature, is being outdoors, is exploring. So why not pursue that? And at the moment, I'm in the current thing of, I would say I'm in quite a good position. I'm quite lucky for this, that I can potentially follow my passion, doing environmental activism, whatever it may be, traveling around, helping people and writing about and finding solutions to these problems, while also running a business for my enough money, and then I can do my diving every now and then to get a bit of extra cash. But what you need to realise is it's not about the cash, it's about what you do with it. Simply put, it's about what you do with that money. So I'm using that money from that business, the money from my diving, to pursue what I think is correct. And I believe, considering the position that we're in, just being in the UK for one, you have this massive platform and capability to really change what's going on. And I don't know about you, but I look everywhere and think, this ain't right. This ain't right that fucking rape and pedophiles have like, I want to say that the reported cases for like rape or whatever, I want to say it increased by, can you Google the increased amount of? No. It was a lot, and that is basically because everyone can communicate online, and they can find their people who think all the same things, and that's wrong. Like, that is wrong, that has increased. Like, they should have their dicks chopped off or hung like they used to. They would just get hung from a rope till they die. And there's some things that need to be brutalised a bit more, because there's no punishment anymore for the actual criminals, whether that is people who take advantage of people or massive corporations. Do you know that there is 100 companies that are accountable for 71% of our global emissions?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
100 companies in the world, and they are accountable for 71% of the global emissions. Think about that.
Yeah, that's
100 CEOs, and it's them.
That's the reason why
They're the criminals,
things
bro.
are so wrong. Is that like, but because they make money, it's nothing.
Yeah.
It's fine.
And that's the problem that I see, and I feel like I have a purpose to try and help these solutions, whether that is just purely spreading information online or in person, or actually going to study something, and that being your purpose, that you're willing to sacrifice and spend time learning these things to try and make a change. And that's what I feel like my drive is. I hear about that and I'm like, I don't like that, I want to change that, and I am willing to sacrifice to fucking achieve that, because that is what we are put here to do, is to make our quality of life better and to improve the civilization, you know. And
That's
at
what
the
I mean,
moment we're just going downhill.
It's understanding as well that, like, yes, like, that's obviously a huge sacrifice, but like, it's just looking at the idea of the rat race, or looking at the idea of other things that you could follow, and it's like understanding actually like what genuine fulfillment is. That like it's a privilege to be able to choose to do something. It's a privilege to be able to follow your passions. So like, accept your privileged position in life, in living in this society, and think, actually, I have a fucking choice. Like, there's so many people out there who don't have a choice.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, you're put into this system and you're taught shit in school that the government choose, and you know, and you go through all these weird different mechanisms of this system and that system and that system. But at the end of the day, at least if you're here watching this, you have the like consciousness and ability and the intelligence to actually sit back and be like, okay, I might be stuck, but I don't have to be. I have the freedom to make the decision of what I do with my life. And I'm not saying go and bin off your kids and fucking move countries. I'm just saying, like, be aware of what you're doing, be aware of who you're working for, be aware of what you're giving to the world. Not just like, oh yeah, I want to leave my kids loads of fucking money, but like, what actual imprint are you having? Is it snowy?
Stars? I don't know.
I think it's just screwed.
Look at the stars as well.
But yeah, stars in London.
What was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say.
Obviously, it's like, and also it's easy for us to sit here and be like, oh, if I don't like the rat race, I'm just gonna, you know, really realign myself and then it's fine. But there's people out there who live within this system who haven't got fucking cars, who can't afford their heating, who, you know, they're barely just scraping by, they've got rent overdue. Like, it's a privileged idea to have, but that's why it's like, if you have the ability to think this way, you should.
And that is, I guess, more so what the video is targeted at. People our age who have the massive ability and talent to actually make a change, and we choose not to. This is something that Mike Tyson talked about when people say he had a great talent as a kid, and he would always say that it is a blessing but also a curse, because now you have that talent, you are expected to do something with it and to be great, and in that ways it is a curse, because all of a sudden you feel like it is your role to step out of your comfort zone by many steps to do this thing that people believe that you're capable of. And I think everyone our age who's in the same position, who is, you know, in their young 20s, in their older teens, where they're kind of thinking about going to uni or this or that, like, we are the future of this country and ultimately this world. And if we can't open our eyes and actually start looking at what is happening, we simply won't make a change.
Yeah, I think a lot of us have like.
And we have the purpose and the tools and the talent to do so, but you have to step out of your comfort zone in order to do that. And it will feel weird, but that is what we have to do. Someone has to step the foot out first. And that could be you fucking tomorrow. That could be me tomorrow. And you just have to fucking... Everyone's in the same place. Everyone thinks the same thing, but just no one's afraid to say anything. And that's the problem. We're segregated and we're divided, and we're not willing to talk about subjects such as what our purpose really
And
is,
it's
and
just
how
like-
money is not the be-all and end-all
A
of
lot
life.
of people have grown up with parents who constantly complain about their job. You can tell that they feel trapped, and you can just see it. You can tell that they feel trapped. You can tell that they don't really like the house they live in, but they fucking gotta live in it because it's all they can afford. And I fucking hate my job, but I have to go to work. But it's like, it's having the awareness that they're in that position for real reasons that are valid, but also you are not. You are not your parents. You are not in the same position as them. Okay, yeah, you live in the same house as them, and your mum works the job that your mum works, but you are not doing that. You have the ability to step away and to actually choose and to think, and you don't need to be so scared and so you don't need to have resentment for the system. You don't need to hate your boss. You don't need to think all your teachers are pricks. You don't need to drag your feet on the way to school in the morning. You don't need to complain about how much uni costs, because you don't have to you kind of have to go to school, but you don't have to follow that if you don't want to, but you have the choice.
Life is simply about your perspective, and if you are doing said things for a reason, for a purpose that you believe is going to better the world, then continue doing it, because you're not in the rat race, mate. You're not in the rat race because you believe what you're doing is going to benefit the world on a large scale, on an actual impactful scale, more than just picking the plastic up on your beach, or it's more than that, because we are capable of more than that. And yeah, it doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter if you're working Next or if you're a CEO of a massive company. If your goal is to make money, whether you consciously think it or not, that is a rat race. That is because your idea is, I just need to make money.
I think that it can be more than money as well, because I think also it's another thing to be aware that we are all influenced. If you have social media, if you don't, you have influence in your life, and everybody wants to put on a certain persona, everybody wants to be a certain person, and I think it's also good to step back and look at, who do I look up to, who do I respect, and what are those people doing? You want the chocolate?
Yeah, I want the chocolate, bruh.
But do you want to work this job because, do you want to be a CEO because I want money, or do you want to be a CEO because it sounds fucking cool? I can tell my mates I've done this thing.
No, I get money.
Yeah, basically. It's just the perception of money.
No.
The actual money doesn't matter. So if you're working a job that everybody thinks is really fucking sick, I don't know, I just feel like sometimes I listen to your Instagram feed and it makes me want to throw up.
Yeah. It's all about perspective. Find what your fucking purpose is, man. Find it.
And not just
And pursue it.
look at somebody else and think, oh, they look like they're happy.
Do everything in your
They look
life to
successful.
go towards what you think is right. And if we all done that, the world would get a lot better very fucking quickly, man.
We're over and out.
But yeah, that's what the rat race is.
Don't worry about the rat race. Just focus on yourself, what you really want.
Wake up!